Thursday, September 28th, 2023. New image recognition tech confuses gnomes with dwarves. A review. Robots asked to give ultimate advice. Elven burnout is real. Here's how to avoid it. Good evening. Officer, welcome. Hey barista, how are you doing? Officer? Oh, sorry. My mind is kind of elsewhere right now. No worries. Work issues? Well, what else could it be? I'm all ears if you want to chat. You're a pal. Been a real bind, barista. Happened. Well, never-ending workplace issues aside, things are getting weirder by the minute and I'm feeling out of my depth. Are you talking about your recent patrols? Yeah. I've been analyzing the CCTV footage the last couple of days. Oh, I see. How did that go? Did the cameras manage to capture anything? Yes and no. The infrareds caught a couple of blurry things. They ran off, turned a corner, and disappeared. Could have been anything like rats or cats, but neither fits with what I heard on the scene. The footsteps, you know, the laughter. To think of it, it sounded more like giggles. Giggles? Can werebeasts giggle? Not at that size, no. But if they could, it doesn't really explain the footsteps. I see. So, what's next? I have some ideas, but they're just wild theories at this point. In short, I'm stumped. You know, barista, I've been racking my brain ever since Miss Riona dropped that bomb about the fairies, you see. Oh, what about them? As it turns out, fairies was an umbrella term for many types of beings. Anything that didn't fit the known physical rules at the time was to be referred to as such. Oh, Does that mean banshees were part of the fairy folk? Probably. Not anymore though. It's an ongoing process, but the list is getting shorter. But back then, any sentient being that was even remotely incomprehensible was considered that. And that includes apparitions. Apparitions? Yep. Apparitions, like ghosts. Ghosts? Ghosts. I see. What do you mean, I see? Eh? Doesn't it sound like a bad joke to you? I'm not sure that I follow. Bud, come on. Ghosts don't exist. Do they? 'Cause if they do, all I can think about is that damn tree now. Ah, right, the tree. Does that mean it's haunted? It could be. Ugh. Don't get how you could be so calm about all this. Huh? Well, why wouldn't I be? I mean, there have been all sorts of customers here. Some of them are just so out of this world, even. Sometimes literally. You're right. Guess you're not the one who's being weird here. Don't say that. Everyone has their own peccadillos. Peccadillos? I've never heard of that word before. Today I learned new vocab word. Through that. You don't mind telling me though, may I ask the reason you're so afraid of ghosts? Gosh, no, that's a long story. Not something I'm ready to talk about anyway. That's understandable. All you need to know is my fear was never caused by actual ghosts. Oh? Suggestion is a very powerful thing, barista, but that's all I'm willing to share, for now. Okay, well, thanks for sharing. You know, it's funny. My grandpop was very into this stuff, and so was my daughter. They're like my opposites, very curious and fascinated by the unknown. Not that I'm not, mind you. It's just with my time as a cop and all, unknown variables usually mean trouble. I see. That makes sense. They're the kind of people who could see things from nothing, and I mean that in the best way possible. Like, you know the Zen rock garden thing from Japan? They understand the Zen-ness of it. I don't, but it doesn't stop me from thinking it's chill, you know? I think you almost got it. Yeah? But I'm sure he and my daughter could talk about it for hours. Too bad he passed away before she was born. Sorry to hear that. Don't be. On that note, Barista, you've seen my lighter, right? I'd say I'm pretty well acquainted with it by now, I guess. Ah, my bad. The thing was originally my grandpa's. He bought it sometime after the war ended. It was to commemorate your upcoming new era, he said. In more ways than one. Got honorably discharged due to a severe leg injury he'd never be able to recover from. Ah. At the time, he was living right across the street from the former town hall. For obvious reasons, he couldn't walk far. So, it was a good location for him, with all the veteran support nearby and all. Right. Now, about that street, you see, my grandpa liked to chat. Never liked being alone, that guy. Plus, he pretty much hated his bleak room. So sometimes he'd go and hang out with the street vendors in front of his place. There were all kinds of beings there, along with their pets from all walks of life, and that's why he had a lot of stories about the craziest things. I see. You see, the street's name just came to my mind last night. You take a guess what it was? You mean Bourne Street? Uh-huh. It wasn't called that before, and that's why the whole thing didn't click for me straight away. But I went through his files and it checks out. That mean that the vendors he was talking about... Bingo! And you know what? He bought the lighter there. Wow, what a coincidence. Are you sure it's only a coincidence? What do you mean? Come on, ain't no way they're just coincidences, Barista. Everything is lining up too perfectly, if you ask me. Uh-oh. Think about what's happened so far. It was my team that found out about the vandalism before they dumped the whole case on me, and my car was hit out of everyone's. Right. Then my luck started tanking. The broken mug, the fan, the black cat. Tons of weird stuff happening in the past week alone, you see. Right? Then one thing led to another, and my team was chosen to lead the investigation. And tell me, who's in charge of the case? Me. And then the Banshee lady, your patron, with some information I wouldn't have thought about. The dead tree stuff and the fairy market. Information I wouldn't have even remembered on my own. Right? And now we know why I kept on losing my lighter, right? How are they not connected? Tell me. Well, if you list them all in order like that, I am telling you, Barista, that place is calling for me, and the case is made for me. But they really picked the wrong guy. I'm just real bad at dealing with spooks. They make me question everything I've ever known, you know? But I've always thought you were pretty good at handling ambiguity, officer. Not when it comes to supernatural stuff. Because we don't know enough about what's real and what's not. Well, what will they do? Will they hurt us? Do they bring bad luck? Good luck? But what's the truth? Who knows? Maybe you should take a day off and catch up on your sleep. Huh? Sleep? What's that? Oh, no, nothing at all. You know, another patron of mine suggested a documentary to watch. Yeah? The focus was on interesting drinks from around the world. You could find everything from the mundane to the extreme, from local comforts to really special stuff, actually. And I kept thinking one particular drink might interest you. Oh? Something like a protection drink. It's made of coffee, honey, lemon, and a slew of other ingredients. Huh. Protection from what, though? From evil spirits and bad luck, I think. Maybe it'll help ease your mind a bit? Ah, gotcha. But Barista, even if the whole situation is, haunted, there shouldn't be any evil spirits. Right? I wouldn't know, but I might need your lighter. What for? Well, the drink needs to be lit up. Now, I just think your lighter might give it that extra magic boost that it needs. Compared to using just a regular flame, I mean. What are you gonna make me, anyway? You know what? Nah, I trust you. Here. Officer Georgie's lighter. Exudes an interesting feel. Okay, then make me this magical drink you've learned, barista. Coffee, honey, lemon, right? Oh, I gotta drag it. Oh, wow. The drink does light up, huh? Yep, this is special just for you. So don't tell anybody. Roger that. Here you go. Oof, careful. Dang, barista, this is really something else. You sure it's okay to drink? I'll be honest with you. I have no idea, but I'll take responsibility if anything happens. I'm just being silly, aren't I? Sorry for bothering you with all this stuff, barista. You even made me this crazy drink to make me feel better. Don't say that. I'm always happy to help however I can. Thanks. And at least with crooks, you can actually deal directly with them, you know? In case with apparitions. Not with that attitude. Huh? Hey yo, new character? Everything can be caught with a little elbow grease. Not actual elbow grease, I won't make that mistake again. The Queen? Is that you? Hello, Williams. Tell me why the first person I thought of was like Lightning McQueen. No, I can't get it out of my head. If Lightning McQueen was a person, this is what they would look like. It's been a while. It is you! The surprises just keep coming this week. You go over there. You know each other? More or less. We were brunch buddies. Brunch buddies? Brunch buddies. I feel like I'm meant to say brunch buddies in that same serious tone, but I don't like to talk about it. I still get nightmares. I feel ya. I wasn't sure we were gonna make it out alive. We were truly the lucky ones. Without a doubt. I'll just take both of your words for it. Good, because I don't like to talk about it. So what brings you here, detective? Surely it's not the coffee. Secret police reasons. I've not read the briefing yet, but enough about me. Tell me about your supernatural problems. Yeah? You need to bust a ghost? Oh, well, busting might be a bit much. I was just talking to Barista about getting over my fear of that stuff. And ghosts. Something like that. I'm weak against ghostly looking stuff. I get freaked out real easily. For example, I admit I get a little spooked by what happened on Bourne Street the other day. Ah, I remember that. I know very well that unchecked fear leads to prejudice, and that's why it's a no-no in my book. It even pains me to admit that out loud. Sometimes the toughest case to crack is ourselves. Other times, ghosts. How do you do it, detective? Your cases, man. I'd probably lost all my hair by now if I were you. Try not to think about it all that much, and what I do think about is who else will do it. Nobody, that's who. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, once you get over the dead part, they're just like you and me. Look, I remember this one case when we were investigating a haunted apartment. This lady, her husband, recently passed away but wasn't moving on, if you catch my drift. Real deadbeat, couldn't take a hint. Anyway, we had to go in and exercise the place, right? But the husband, he caught wind and he's retreated into the basement. I won't get into the technicalities of it, but it's harder to get a ghost out of a basement or an attic. It's all about angles, really. I mean, I get it. It used to be his home. All his stuff is still there. It's hard, I get that. So, anyway, I'm slowly going down the stairs to try and coax him out. Bam! Next minute, all this romantic music is playing. The whole place is lit up by a spotlight. Basic sensory illusion. Classic ghost tricks. Then, before I know what hits me, I'm sitting at the pottery wheel and he's behind me and... Wait. Isn't this the plot of the 1990 film Ghost? Oh. Maybe? Well, we had a movie night at work and I dozed off before it started. The story must have slipped into my subconscious. Riveting. Hey, detective. Hey, people I don't know. Get your important errand sorted? Sure did. Dooley, I can see crumbs stick to your face. That's just the rain. It's very bready rain. There's filling all over your top. That's blood from a gunshot wound. It's sealed up though. You're literally holding a receipt from the donut shop. That's why they pay you the big bucks, detective. So what I miss? We're talking about getting rid of Officer Williams' fear of ghosts. Hey, ghost. Yeah, you're afraid of him, right, Dooley? No idea, never met one. We stopped a ghost riot. Ghosts aren't real. So you don't need to be scared of them. Easy. There you go, I guess. Sorry, that wasn't much help. Nah. But you said that they're just like us. Good thing to be reminded of. Exactly. They used to be alive just like us. As long as they don't try to eat or possess or violently murder you, you should be fine. Very reassuring. Just talk to them, feel their culture, listen to their issues, and spectral whales. Treat them like any other person. See what's on the inside. Which should be easy since you can see through them. I thought that you didn't believe in ghosts. Best not to overthink anything that he says. I certainly don't. Well, thanks for that advice. I think it'll help. Our pleasure. Now, Dooley, I think we should read that case briefing and find out why we're here. I already did. Oh? Turns out we're meant to arrest the person driving that taxi. Instead of taking it all the way to Seattle, yes. Why? The driver was a chupacabra. Okay. Let's get out of here, Dooley. Good luck, officer. Thanks, McQueen. It means a lot. You too, Officer Dooley. Bye, guy. Good luck with your rap problem or whatever. Bye, Coffee Wizard. Take care, bud. That was quite something. Well, what do you know, barista? Just looks like my good luck is back. I'm feeling like $1,000,000 now. Very glad that you do. Thanks anyway, barista. Really did nothing much. You going to be okay? Okay, enough to start thinking about what to do next, at least. I think I'm done here for the night. Have a good evening, alright? Please keep me updated, officer, and stay safe. Will do. Alright then, maybe I'll go check the stock and... Huh? Okay, that's spooky. Oh, never mind. I thought it was an apparition. Miss Riona, welcome! Hello. How's the traffic out there? It's a mess. Construction work taking place on Lenora Avenue. Ugh. I can imagine the gridlock already. Fortunately, I have no deliveries to make today. That's great. I'm happy that you're here. So, anything I can make for you this evening? I'd like something for my throat. I would appreciate a cup of tea infused with some lemon and a touch of honey. Tea infused with lemon and a touch of honey. A cup of warm midsummer night's dream for you, miss. That's what we call it here. How whimsical. It's wonderful. Sweet, but well balanced with the lemon, and the slight bitterness of the tea completes the taste. Thank you. You are so very welcome. By the way, you just missed Officer Georgie by a few seconds. That's so? How is he? Been thinking about what you said quite a bit, actually. Oh? He's currently dealing with plenty of clues he isn't used to, and that's why he's hard at work at the moment. I see. Would you mind doing me a favor? Oh, what do you need? Could you give my contact information to him? We only connected via Bluetooth last time, so... Oh? An email address and phone number are written on it belonging to Riona Sheeran. Ed Sheeran? Any relation? Thoughts? What I said a few days ago may have been a bit overwhelming. It is possible that I spoke more than was necessary, all because I couldn't help but feel a pang of bitterness knowing what happened to the tree. It's entirely understandable, though. Not my intention to interfere with his work. As such, if he requires any assistance, please do let me know. It's the least I could do, as I realize there would be plenty of difficult obtaining information. Oh, I mean, because Officer Georgie is a human, and we semi-physical beings have our own way of sharing information as such. I understand what you mean. Okay. I just do not wish to incriminate anything or anyone. It's fine, I get it. Glad. I'd say you already helped him out in more ways than one. Sorry, did you say something? I was zoning out a little. No, you weren't. The camera panned over. There is a ghost here. There is an apparition. You were talking to the apparition and you were ignoring me because you were paying attention to the apparition, but we can't see them because we're human or something like that. I was zoning out a little. No, nothing. I'll pass this off to him. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Bad traffic aside, how are you? I'm... To be honest, I've had a lot on my mind of late. I don't know how to express it without sounding pathetic. You know that I'm all ears. That may actually be part of the problem, I'm afraid. Pardon? You know, I've held conversations with more individuals over the past week than I have in the past few years. Is that a good or a bad thing? It's troubling. Oh, sorry about that. I don't mean it necessarily in a negative way. It's just, I used to believe that I had settled life perspective, but I've been doubting it lately. How come? I finally heard back from Miss Rachel yesterday. Ooh, any good news? No. Our fields are admittedly quite different, so I was not expecting much. However, she provided me with some contacts who may be of assistance, even though they had no direct connection to the audience I'm trying to reach. See, she explained clearly why she thinks I should contact them, however, which I am thankful for. That's very thoughtful of her. So what's the battle plan? And why are you doubting yourself? In essence, the advice is to slowly increase my network, to make myself known. Oh? Sounds familiar, doesn't it? You can probably guess my concern about it. I think so, but you could give me a refresher, just so I don't misunderstand. I feel like that would be a shortcut, so to speak. Right. You did, however, remind me of an important and humbling fact. And what would that be? Well, but it's not guaranteed you'll get anything out of it, don't you think? Unless you're really, really sure the so-called shortcut is 100% gonna work. Because you'll have to do way, way more than just making a few calls and waiting for callbacks, you know? I'd say that's a decent impression of her. You. After that, she told me a story about her early career experiences, both the good and the bad. Getting noticed is truly only the beginning. Then it is either a matter of letting your talent speak for you, or you go out there to develop connections with the right people. Even then, there's still no guarantee of success. After listening to her explanation, I respect Miss Rachel's determination. I can clearly see how much it worked out for her, but then I was left wondering whether Mr. Lucas meant something similar during her first meeting. Right, I thought it all sounded familiar. Will you try her suggestion then? I don't know yet. Is it difficult? No more difficult than sending reels to every audition I've come across. And being rejected by every single one. But for some reason, I feel conflicted about it. Speaking of Mr. Lucas, he and I have also continued our correspondence, although perhaps it was more like a necessity. Did something happen? He was up? Pardon? He posted about it on social media last night. Oh? I might have seen it. Did you? I came across it when I was updating my schedule and responded out of concern, and then he called me almost immediately. He was loud. All sounds in order, and extremely drunk? Really? He denied it at first, but it was too obvious not to notice. He told me he was walking aimlessly, deep in thought, and entered Cary Park without realizing he'd done so. Must have been some deep thinking he was doing because I think it rained pretty hard last night. Well, I wouldn't know. The bus to and from there is currently not operating after 10 p.m. This is why I sent him a message informing him of that fact, as he seemed to be unaware of it. Right. So he called me to ask if there is any other mode of public transport nearby. Wouldn't it have been easier for him to just call a cab? Well, he told me he wanted to know the city better. At midnight? Why not? After all, you operate your business after dark yourself. Touché. Perhaps he just didn't want to go home yet, and I might be mistaken here, but I thought he didn't like drinking. Wasn't it partying? Nevertheless, I think last night was quite different. It appears he had dinner with his team, and he needed the extra courage in order to negotiate with them about his proposed new direction. Oh. I see. I suppose it didn't go as expected. Perhaps. And I know that feeling all too well, miss. However, he said he will keep negotiating until they reach a compromise. That's good. Is it though? Miss Rachel told me about the hoop she had to jump through at the beginning of her career with her teammates as well. Likewise, Mr. Lucas has to work hard to obtain approval from his team for his actions. How can they still be so positive? What do you mean? I just cannot picture myself convincing others. Give me a chance. I almost wanted to ask, why do we have to be at the mercy of others in order to succeed or fail? Can't talent speak for itself? But if I truly believed that, with the number of rejections I've received so far, I could have stopped a long time ago, shouldn't I? Right, that's why it doesn't work that way. What do you mean? To let talent speak for itself, we would have all had to have the same standards. See what you mean? Art would cease to be art if it was standardized, wouldn't it? However, doesn't that imply that everything still depends on the whims of the individual judging you at the moment? How does someone like Miss Rachel or Mr. Lucas manage to be fine with that? Huh. Perhaps because they don't see it as the be-all and end-all? What do you mean? Rather than viewing them as judges with the authority to determine their fates, perhaps they simply see them as hills to either overcome or avoid, if that makes sense. It's a matter of perspective as to where the power lies. But it's not easy to climb those hills, especially if you've never done it before. Therefore, it's good to try and find out what works for you, or ask for guidance or assistance even. Because one can't possibly know every single way to overcome obstacles, or be able to safely recognize warning signs without first learning about them from others. Is that what you're trying to say? I see. Still, Miss Riona? Yes, sorry, I got a bit lost in my thoughts. You're fine, I promise. But speaking of Mr. Lucas, what happened to him after the call? Oh, well, I picked him up and drove him home. Whoa. But I thought you were located in Belleville? I am. But I still had unfinished business in the downtown area. Moreover, he suddenly began singing quite loudly nearing the end of our call, which led me to conclude that it would be best for me to go and fetch him. I see. How was his singing, in your opinion? It wasn't too bad. If not for the fact that he was screaming most of the lyrics, that is. Oh, his hoodie was soaked when I arrived, so he had to take it off before getting into my car, and thankfully the water didn't completely soak through to his shirt, so he remained relatively dry. However, I still had to lay down the seat covers, as his fur got rather wet. Hope he didn't get sick then. To go now. Alright, well, you be okay? I have a lot to think about. Thank you for being patient with my concerns, barista. No problem at all. Anytime. Have a good evening then, barista. Come back soon.